They say a camera never lies. I used to believe that. I used to trust my own eyes, my own judgment, above all else. But the Blackwood Grand Hotel, it changed things. It showed me that sometimes, the camera sees what your mind is told to skip. It showed me a guest who was never there, yet was always present. And I, Alex, was the one who captured them. The Blackwood Grand stood silent, majestic even in decay. The air inside was thick with dust and the scent of forgotten lives. Sunlight, when it found a way through the grimy windows, illuminated dancing motes of history. It was a perfect canvas for my lens. I spent hours setting up shots, moving through the vast, echoing spaces, the only sound my footsteps and the click of my camera. I was in the old dining hall, a cavernous space with a long, empty table. I framed a shot, focused, and pressed the shutter. A flash, a moment of dark for a split second. I thought I saw something in the periphery. A faint blur, a shadow too distinct. I squinted, zoomed in, but it was gone, or so I thought. Just a trick of the light, I told myself. The dust settling. Nothing. Back in the makeshift studio I'd set up in the main lobby, I began reviewing the day's shots. Clicking through the images of the Blackwood Grand Hotel, there it was, clearer this time. A vague, dark shape, standing near the far wall. I scrolled to another photo, taken minutes later, of the grand staircase. And again, a similar shape, partially obscured by a banister. It was too consistent to be random. A shiver, light as a feather, traced its way up my spine. The pattern became undeniable. In the ballroom, by the collapsed chandelier. In the library, peeking from behind a bookshelf. Always the same height, the same vague posture. Always just out of focus enough to be indistinct, yet undeniably present. I laid the prints out on the floor of the Blackwood Grand, a chilling tableau. My heart hammered. This wasn't a trick of light or dust. This was a presence, captured by my camera, in an abandoned hotel where I was supposed to be completely alone. I tried every rational explanation. Lens flare? No, the figure was too consistent in shape. Dust on the sensor? I cleaned it meticulously. Double exposure? Impossible with a digital camera. I even took test shots of a blank wall in the Blackwood Grand, convinced it was some malfunction. My mind raced. There had to be an explanation. There just had to be. I couldn't accept anything else. But every new photo I took, no matter the angle, the light, or the room, held the same impossible guest. It wasn't always in the same spot, but it was a silent observer, a ghostly fixture of the Blackwood Grand. The rational explanations crumbled, leaving behind a stark, unsettling truth. My camera was seeing something I couldn't, something that defied every law of physics I knew. The hotel wasn't empty. And I wasn't alone. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in bruised purples and grays, the Blackwood Grand truly came alive with shadows. The silence I tried to call for help, for reassurance, but my phone had no signal in the hotel's thick walls. I was utterly alone, miles from anywhere, with an invisible guest that only my camera could see. The vast, empty lobby now felt like a cage, every shadow a potential hiding place. Then, a sound. not captured by a lens, but heard by my own ears. A faint, distant creak, like a floorboard giving way under weight. It came from upstairs, from the long-abandoned guest rooms of the Blackwood Grand. My breath caught in my throat. I stood absolutely still, straining to hear it again. Another creak, closer this time. My head snapped up, my eyes darting into the oppressive darkness. I saw nothing, but felt a distinct shift in the air, a presence that was no longer Jay. I moved cautiously, flashlight beam cutting through the inky blackness. Each step echoed, amplified by the hotel's vastness. I reached the half-open door, pushed it fully, and swept the beam across the room. Empty. Just a dusty, forgotten guest room in the Blackwood Grand. I stood there, listening, holding my breath, but heard nothing. The silence that followed was heavier, more oppressive than before. It wasn't the relief of finding nothing, it was the chilling realization that what? In the quiet dark of the Blackwood Grand, my mind drifted. It had been 2 years since Sarah, my wife. She loved old hotels, always finding beauty in forgotten places. This job, at the Blackwood Grand, felt like a pilgrimage of sorts, a way to connect but now, it felt like something else entirely. A reflection of my own unacknowledged grief, perhaps. A presence, like the one in my photos, that I hadn't truly faced. The hotel, in its quiet way, was mirroring my own internal landscape. I took one last photo, a panoramic of the grand ballroom, hoping to prove my sanity. But when I checked the screen, my blood ran cold. The figure was in the foreground, sharp, distinct, standing just feet from where I had been. Its face, though still shadowed, was turned towards me, its eyes. I dropped the camera, the sound echoing like a gunshot through the Blackwood Grand. This was no malfunction. This was real. And it was here. I scrambled, desperate for any semblance of safety. I found a small, dusty utility closet near the service stairs in the Blackwood Grand. Barely big I wedged myself inside, pulling the heavy, creaking door shut, pressing my back against it. My heart hammered against my ribs. The thick wood offered a false sense of security, blocking out the vast, empty spaces. I closed my eyes, trying to regulate my breathing, the only light the faint glow of my phone screen in the suffocating darkness. Then, a shadow moved under the closet door. It wasn't the moonlight. It was too dark, too defined. My eyes fixed on it, heart hammering. I held my breath, desperate for it to be nothing. But then, from just outside the door, I heard it, a distinct, the sound of a camera shutter. And then, a pale hand, appearing under the door crack, pushing something through. An old, faded photograph. My false safety shattered, replaced by raw, unadulterated terror in the Blackwood Grand Hotel. Panic seized me. I burst out of the closet, scrambling wildly, not caring about the noise. My feet hit the dusty floor of the Blackwood Grand, sending up clouds of fine particles. I ran, blindly, through the labyrinthine corridors, my own each step was a desperate attempt to escape what was undeniably real, undeniably here. I didn't dare look back, but in my periphery, at the very end, not pursuing, just watching. Always watching. I reached the main entrance of the Blackwood Grand, my hand on the cold brass of the door handle. Freedom was just a push away. But something held me. The photograph I'd clutched from under the closet door felt heavy in my hand. It wasn't just terror anymore, it was a desperate need to understand. And why were they showing themselves to me? I looked back into the hotel's suffocating shadows. My fear was immense, but my need for answers was stronger. I had to know. I unfolded the old photograph under the faint light of a cracked chandelier. My breath hitched. It was a picture of Sarah. My Sarah. Smiling, vibrant, from years ago. But behind her, faint, almost transparent, was the figure from my camera. The guest. It wasn't a stranger. It was inextricably linked to my deepest loss. I looked around the Blackwood Grand frantically, my mind reeling. The figure wasn't just a random entity. It was something personal, something tied to my past, my grief. The camera hadn't just seen a ghost, it had a say. Nothing about it made sense yet, but something had already changed. The quiet stretched a little too long to be nothing. Whatever came next, there was no taking back what had already been noticed. Nothing about it made sense yet, but something had already changed. The quiet stretched a little too long to be nothing. Whatever came next, there was no taking back what had already been noticed. Nothing about it made sense yet, but something had already changed. The quiet stretched a little too long to be nothing. Whatever came next, there was no taking back what had already been noticed. Nothing about it made sense yet, but something had already changed. The quiet stretched a little too long to be nothing. Whatever came next, there was no taking back what had already been noticed. Nothing about it made sense yet, but something had already changed. The quiet stretched a little too long to be nothing. Whatever came next, there was no taking back what had already been noticed.